Hey, all right, we are live. So we didn't get a chance to make like a regular video today, but up to this and that's sort of all. Let me do the chat first to make sure that's working. But just to cover some of the stuff that did go on, NASCAR confiscated some cars. I think it was like Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick. Uh, I don't know, like basically a car from every manufacturer, and they're going to take them to the wind tunnel to sort of make sure that they are aerodynamically good. I think Ford is probably going to get like a bump or something because through all the races so far, Ford only has one win. So they have taken all those cars to the wind tunnel just to make sure that there is a balance in performance or whatever you want to call it. So it's not like nobody's going to get penalized or anything like that. So they have taken them to the R&D tunnel to make sure R&D wind tunnel to make sure everything is kosher and above ground. And so that is good there. Also, let's see here. The merch. A lot of you guys have been asking about the merchandise, and I said, wait. If you can, wait. Don't go to Teespring. Don't do that yet. Have officially launched the merchandise store today. So far, just one T-shirt and some stickers on there. But throughout the rest of the month, it is going to be on there. And there you go. That is the merchandise store right there. I just dropped the link in the chat. So if you want to go check that out, it is available. And I'll try to remember to put it at the end of the chat. But let's see. What should we start off with as a poll question here today? How about should Ford get some aero help? We'll start off with that one and see where you guys are at as far as that one goes, and then I will jump into the chat here and see what you guys want to talk about. I'm thinking I don't think anything else happened significantly. Oh yeah, F1. The F1 ratings were way lower than the Kansas race for NASCAR, which is significant, and they were significantly lower. There was like I think 2 million watching the NASCAR race, and there was almost 1 million watching the F1 race. The F1 race was heavily promoted, and also the NASCAR race was on cable. So the F1 race was on regular TV. The NASCAR race was on cable. So big, huge, even bigger gap than you actually see by the numbers. All right, let's jump into it. What exactly is the Trackhouse no push policy? Says one wise guy. That means if you push one of our guys, they're going to hit you back. That's what the no push policy essentially means. As far as that one goes, one wise guy, good to see you on here as always. Mark Barnum, what's up? Noah would not put his hand on Ross. He wouldn't have got the knuckle sandwich with his fries, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, so it's one of those things. Don't go down there. First off, you're walking into another person's pit stall, garage area, whatever you want to call it. And so don't do that. You don't do that if you're happy 9 times out of 10. And if you're going to do that, the first hand you lay on him better be some offense, not what Noah Gregson was doing at the end of the day. Howdy from the Great White North. What's up, Robin Marks? What's up, Canada? Mark Barnum saying it's working here. And Homer Simpson saying hello, everyone. What's up, Homer? Mark Barnum says lick the like button. So, yeah, I would appreciate it if you would like to hit that like button. It is always appreciated. I don't feel pressured to, though. Tim Bray saying cool merch. Grabbed a shirt and a decal bundle. I appreciate it, Tim Bray. That is awesome. Do you think Kevin Harvick's Darlington green and orange throwback is the best throwback scheme? Oh, there's a lot of good ones. I feel like Chase Elliott is going to win the fan vote because he's Chase Elliott, and it is a good throwback. I'm not saying it's a bad throwback or anything, but you've got Bill Elliott, also a former most popular driver. So I feel like that one is going to win the fan vote. However, for me personally, as far as Kevin Harvick throwback schemes go, I like what RCR is doing in the Xfinity Series. So right now, that one is up there. And the Adam Petty one that is being run in the Truck Series is probably another one of my favorite ones as well. So I would have to do like a mix. Or I think it's the Truck Series. It would be a mix of those two, either the RCR one or the Adam Petty one. The Adam Petty one's been done already by Bubba Wallace, and I really love that one. So I guess I'll go with the RCR paint schemes. For Kevin Harvick, representing his Busch Series championships with them, specifically the payday one. The payday one is just one I always remembered. Let's see here. Hi, y'all from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Cassandra Keller, what's up, Cassandra? Mark Barnum saying what's up. Jeff Henson saying hello as well. And let's see, say Kyle and Cow, has anyone had a bigger comeback race than the 24 had this weekend, or was that a high water mark for a rebound day so far this season? Well, so far this season, I would say you're absolutely right. There was one race, however, where Bill Elliott was like 4 or 5 laps down, and this is the no lucky dog era. Bill Elliott made all of those laps back up just by passing the leader because his car was so daggum fast that day. And I think he won that race, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody that's older than me and remembers that, let me know. I vaguely remember it as a little kid. I remember my parents talking about it, or my dad and his friends actually talking about it. But let me know down in the comments if you remember what race that was, or if I'm just imagining things. Did that happen on Earth too? But I'm pretty sure that happened. Will Casey Mears make the list? I think he was 6 laps down and came back to win the race, or it might have been 5 laps down and came back and won the race. But I could be totally mistaken. OJ, but yeah, as far as this season, I think William Byron had a pretty good comeback there. 2 laps down and came back and got a nice top 10, a nice good finish there. Will Casey Mears make the list for top 75 drivers this week? On Earth 2, he's a lock. So I feel strong about it on Earth 2. Anybody with 75 wins on Earth 2, one day I'm going to go back and look at all these and do all the Earth 2 stuff and make an actual universe out of it. Mark Barnum, Dale Jr. had an interesting take on Ross Noah thing. If you want to watch YouTube, I haven't seen that one yet, so I'll have to check it out. Kind of been rocking and rolling the last month, really. But we've got the merch site up, so that's part of the rocking and rolling that's done. Then we'll at some point I will finish out Studio 2, and we'll get rocking and rolling on what that's supposed to be over there. It was a sucker shot with his security waiting, says Duke Chronic. I'm not necessarily going to say it was a sucker punch because he was touched first and Noah was shaking him, but the security guard shouldn't have jumped in. Like the security guard shouldn't have jumped in. And Ross Chastain told him to stop several times. So the sucker punch, I mean, it's up to your debate, but I agree with you. The security guard should have either shut it down before it started, or not even a security guard. The guy that jumped in, we don't know for sure if he was a security guard or not yet. He should have either stopped it before it started or let him go for a minute or two and then break it up. So I do agree with that. Ian Fisher, but if he's a security guard, his job is not to let Ross get hit. So if that's the case, then I guess he did his job there. So I will, if he is actual security guard, I'll defend him in that respect. Can we all agree that both Noah and Ross are absolute gems for NASCAR? That's where I'm at with it, Ian Fisher. These two dudes are being themselves in an era where it seems more, you get more rewarded for, acting a certain way to retain sponsors. I'll put it that way. Hey, everybody from DeLand, Florida. What's up, Glen Park? What's up, Florida? Florida man, another Florida man in the house. Glen Park. I'm in DeBerry, so there you go. More Florida fans right there. Aaron Flynn, did you see where it was Noah against Ross on Denny's bracket challenge? That's hilarious. I haven't even kept up with Denny Hamlin's bracket challenge. I don't know like 100% exactly what it is. Like I said, I've been super busy. I haven't been able to keep up with all that stuff. And I thought it was another gimmick. So honestly, I've kind of ignored it. So that's on me. Stupid Roofer says, hi, fellas. What's up, Roofer? Hi, Mark, Robin, and OJ, says Cassandra. What's up, BB, everyone? Been busting my butt all day sitting down for this podcast, says T-Van. I appreciate it, T-Van, and hope you're doing good over there. We've kept you in our thoughts and prayers over here, man. Hope your family's doing good. Did you feel bad for Noah getting punched, says OJ and Toothpaste? I didn't feel bad for him getting punched because Ross told him 2 or 3 times to stop, and he was shaking him. Like if you're going to grab somebody and shake the mess out of them, that's not a good thing to do. That being said, Noah Gregson can take a lick, dude. That dude, he's got a chin on him. So he's if he can ever learn some technique, he's going to be he's going to be a difficult out in the Mortal Kombat tournament. Mark Barnum says, "What's up, Roofer?" Jeff Henson says, "Noah finds the one-eyed monster." Oh man, I'm not gonna make fun of Ross's particular eyesight situation going on there, so I'm gonna leave that one be. I don't do that deal. Let's see. Roofer saying, "What's up to Mark and Cassandra?" Adam Petty throwback one. I will always love, says T-Van. Yeah, me too. That's kind of where I'm at with that one. The only reason I'm going with the RCR one is because I have seen that one before, sort of recently, I guess 2018 or 2019, somewhere in there. So I will go with the two RCR schemes for Xfinity to honor Kevin Harvick in his final year. So I do lean toward that one. I wish I could say I was a close relative of Justin Marks. He's got a hot property. Dale Earnhardt Jr. today had a video. He had some same comparison as you to his dad. He wants Ross to be a superstar, says Robin Marks. Yeah, they drive very similar. Like, as soon as I saw Ross Chastain in the truck series, or actually, when he was racing Steven Nasse in super late models, I'll even take it that far back. I was like, dude, and at that point, I didn't know he was going to be in a truck, but I was like, man, if they had dudes like that in the Cup series, like, we wouldn't have no problem with people tuning in. So once I saw him in the truck series, I was like, oh, he's in the truck series. He's definitely going to make it to Cup at some point. And then when he was driving those bad Cup rides for a long time, I was like, man, I hope somebody big jumps in and takes him. Then Ganassi took him, and the rest is history. But yeah, he hangs it out there every single lap, and he's not afraid to hurt feelings. He just goes out there and tries to win. Now, people either love that and people either hate that. So for that being said, I think he's good for the sport because you either love him or hate him. And every single weekend, just about, it seems like we're talking about him, right? So I think he is definitely good for the sport. He's a big reason that NASCAR outdrew F1, in my opinion, too. Yes, he won, says Robin Marks. 92 season, says Stupid Roofer. Oh, 92 season for Bill Elliott. So there you go. When he came from several laps down. He won at Daytona or Talladega, so it was a plate track back in the day as well. That's pretty cool. Duke Chronic chiming in. Stephen D'Amelio Jr. says 2 laps down at Talladega essentially made up 3 laps to, yeah, so I'll just go ahead. If it was 2, I'll go ahead and say he made 4 laps up because it's double the size of a normal track. Appreciate it, Stephen. I'll find it, BB. 11 doing what he cries about, says Jeff Henson. So, yeah, Kyle Larson's wife tweeted out, it is now, she now refers to the show as actions hypocritical because what he decries quite often, he did himself. So a lot of people have that take on it. And that's my only real issue with Denny Hamlin. He says he wants people to act one way, but he acts not up to his own code. So that's my only real criticism of old James Dennis Allen over there. Duke Chronic, Tim Richmond was stuck in reverse at Pocono, pitted backwards and fixed it and won the race. Oh man, that's pretty cool. I don't think I saw that one, but I remember somebody having their transmission fixed after being stuck going backwards. I think they might have slid that into Days of Thunder too, when they were fixing the transmission. I thought that might be where that came from. Bill Elliott won the 1985 Talladega Winston 500. So it was 85 Winston 500, I think is the one I'm talking about, where he was multiple laps down. Back when he had the really illegal car that was like more narrow this way, but it was like the perfect length this way. But I think they had made it way narrower, so it was way more narrow, I guess, than the other hot rods out there. Will the Cup Series go all electric in 2030? No clue. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen. I would lean toward no. I would say no. I don't think they're ever going to go all electric unless they absolutely have to. I think it'll just become a situation where it's like horse racing. People don't ride horses for the vast majority of their travel anymore, but we still have horse racing. I think NASCAR will sort of be in the same boat there. Same thing with F1. It's not a sucker punch when you grab someone first, says Jeff Henson. Yeah, so it's up to however you want to determine it. I don't see it as a sucker punch, but a lot of people do. So that would probably be 63% on the poll. I'm going to go ahead and close it because I want to ask another question here real quick. Let's see. Because I am interested in this one. Just answer however you want to. Like, don't worry about my opinion on this one. But was it a sucker punch? Because I genuinely, there's actually been a lot of debate on that one. So there you go. Got the poll up. Was it a sucker punch? And we're talking about the Ross Chastain Noah thing, just in case you live in a cave and don't know what we're talking about here. Where was I at here? I did mark it. I marked it, and now I'm way far behind. Here we go. Bill Elliott won the 1985 Talladega Winston 500. Says Philip Canavan. Not a second punch. Probably the most solid hit I've ever heard on TV, says T-Van. Yeah, it was definitely very audible. I don't know how powerful it was or anything like that, but it definitely had a good sound for the camera. There's no doubt about that. If I'm paying 79% so far saying no. So I thought it would be closer to 50-50, but it's interesting. 80% now saying no. If I'm paying the security guard and he doesn't break it up, he's going to be he's going to be guarding somebody else next week, says Say Kyle Not Cal. So actually, when I saw the security guard jump in and Noah Gragson started or not Noah Gragson, but Ross Chastain started smiling at Noah Gragson, my immediately first thoughts were like Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. When Ric Flair would start some mess and then the Four Horsemen would block him so nobody could get to Ric Flair, and Ric Flair would just be back there smiling and talking trash. That is like that is the first thought that popped into my head, probably because I watched too much wrestling as a kid. But when Ross started smiling at him after he just straight punched him in the face, I was like, oh my God. Like, he has fully embraced the bad guy role in that moment. I was like, that's pretty funny. It kind of reminded me when Ric Flair would get hit in the face and be like, oh, no, because he had his hands up like that too. He's like, oh, no, please no more. And then he would throw like a dirty punch, like the old testicular claw or whatever he would pull out. Anyway, Noah knew going in that people would jump in and break it up. Happens most times, or a big melee. NASCAR needs to be like hockey and let two square off until somebody goes down. For those who don't watch hockey, when somebody goes down in hockey, that's when it gets broken up. Good point, Robin Marks. I do agree with it there. Either you break it up before it starts, or you let it happen until somebody goes down. Robin Marks saying hey to Cassandra. Jeff Henson, part of the Yes crowd. With the cheap shot there. William Wagman, hey, good evening, Bologna Burger, and everyone out there. Denny the Dork Hamlin should be taken out by Ross Chastain and paid for by Kyle Larson at the next race. You talk about a throwback at Darlington, throwing it back to when Denny Hamlin gets taken out. And Roofer, I think, is posting the race from the 1985 Winston, maybe, where Bill Elliott made up all those laps, if I'm guessing. Poll, should Ross and Noah have a charity boxing match, says Robin Marks. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question we could put out there at some point. Yeah, you know what? Let me close this one out because it looks I'll leave it up for a little bit. If you want to vote on the poll, was it a dirty hit, or was it a cheap shot by Ross Chastain? The poll is up now. Feel free to vote on that one. Ross and Noah made a few Twitter fight pages. Non-NASCAR fans basically couldn't believe that he not only got punched, but hit with such a terrible haircut. Says Say Kyle Not Cal. That's the worst part for, looks like 1988, says Stupid Roofer, for the Bill Elliott making up 5 or 6 laps or whatever it was. That's the worst thing for Noah Gragson. He will forever be replayed. This punch, this fight, whatever you want to call it, will forever be replayed. And he will always have that stupid haircut on the replays. So if you're young and you're getting a dumb haircut, just remember, if you get a dumb haircut, don't do something stupid, because it will be forever replayed forever and ever. If you got a bad haircut, make sure you're really good at throwing fists. Once again, I would like to point out, I'm on the side of never fight. Just never fight. That's probably the best option there, right? Practice that first. Let's see. Noah looked like he was winding up for a pitch. Slow, says Jay Campbell. Yeah, he winds up. He still hasn't learned not to wind up. Just go from where your fist is forward. If you wind up, you give the other guy time to react. In my opinion, I feel Denny robbed the fans of a finish that was great, says Duke Chronic. A lot of people feel like that. And it was definitely, I feel like Denny could have got by him if he wanted to cleanly, or at least had a really good chance. But I feel like Denny made his bed by just riding around back there. I think Denny knew what he wanted to do at the end of that race. He wanted the guaranteed win. So it is what it is. And like I said, I have no problem with that. The problem I have with it is the hypocrisy of him wanting other people to drive him clean. That's my only real issue with it. Ross would have caught him a little higher. He would have been he wouldn't have woke up from that punch. Yeah, so Ross needs to work on his aim. There's no doubt about that, because it definitely made a good solid sound, but he definitely needs to work on the aim. Either go behind the ear, to the temple, or to the chin. One of those 3 spots. Roofer saying, what's up to T-Man? Jeff Henson saying the 11 was dirty too. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a clean move, but like I said, I don't have a problem with that as long as when it gets done back, if you do it and when it gets done back to you, you don't complain about it. That's my only issue. If you're going to drive like that, don't complain about it when it gets done back to you. Denny the Dork cannot pass a car clean on the last lap. I lost all respect, says William Wagaman. Say Kyle Not Cal says, making up laps the hard way at a super speedway is absolutely insane. Hats off to Awesome Bill on that. Yeah, it was pretty much one of those absolute I don't know that we'll ever see it done again. We'll put it that way. I don't think we'll ever see somebody with a car that dominant that goes that many laps down that early and come back and win like that. I feel like somebody's done it at Bristol before too, but I think they had a lot of help with cautions and stuff like that. I want to say maybe Darrell Waltrip in the 17 Western Auto or something like that, or maybe Kurt Busch in the 97 Rubbermaid, maybe one of them. But I don't think it was anything like Bill Elliott at Talladega that day, if I'm not mistaken. OJ and Toothpaste, do you think? I think at one point, Richard Petty, way back in the day, and I don't think it's on TV, I think Richard Petty went down a bunch of laps and came back and won. But that was a whole different era. He probably had like a way faster car that day, without a doubt. Jeff Henson says, Dork, LOL. Do you think F1 is boring, OJ and Toothpaste? I think the current rules setup that they got now is not as good as previous rules setups that they've had, but I don't think F1 is boring. No, I think there's a lot of strategy and stuff like that I watch in F1. F1 is only boring if you're watching to find out who's going to win. Because I'll just go ahead and ruin F1 for you this season. Max Verstappen and Red Bull are going to win probably most of the races for the rest of the season. So if you're just watching the race for the win, then maybe you think F1 is boring. But there is a lot of tactical stuff going on for those other constructor points further throughout the field. So if you're just watching the front of the field, if you're just watching to see who wins, you're probably going to think F1's boring. If you're watching what Ferrari's doing to stay in the that is doing just to score some points, some manufacturer points or whatever, to get on that. I think they call it the table, the manufacturer's table for the constructor's title or whatever. I think those are some interesting battles. So it all just depends on how you watch it. If you want door-to-door slamming, F1's not going to be for you. Dale Jr. said he wants Ross to take the intimidator persona. It's time, says one wise guy. Well, yeah, he probably should. It's time. I agree with him. I'm glad he came out and said that. I think it's going to mean a lot for Junior to get behind somebody like Ross Chastain. You're going to see him open up and not be as PC as he has been since he started that podcast, and that podcast got really big. 1985, Bill was only down 2 laps, says Philip Canavan. Okay, so he was only down 2 in 85, so maybe we're thinking about 88. But there was one where he was down a significant amount of laps. Either way, it's amazing because he did it. He came back without the help of basically cautions. He got those laps back himself. And so if it was at Talladega, that's 2 laps is really 4 laps at any other track. So I'll give him credit for 4 there. 11 can only bump, says Jeff Henson. Hey, BB, which throwback scheme are you most looking forward to seeing on the track this weekend? I'm looking forward to actually seeing the RCR ones and the Truck Series throwback to Adam Petty. I'm pretty stoked about seeing those. Robin Mark says, I love Tim Richmond. Tim Richmond was definitely one of the best drivers. Had a short career, but he was definitely, he would have gave him a fit if he had stayed around longer. Thank you for saying asked and not axed. Says Rowdy Fan for Life, says Jenna Allison. Yeah, I say a lot of words improperly, but asked and axed is not one of them. So Sprite and Sprite. What is it? Sprite and Sprite. Sprite and Sprite. Sprite's another one. Ice and Eyes. That's another one a lot down here. Eyes is also ice in certain regions down here. Robin, the Elliott car looks good. Oh yeah. So if you missed the very beginning of it, Chase Elliott's definitely going to win the fan vote because he's throwing it back to his dad, who's a former most popular driver, and he's the current most popular driver. So he's definitely going to win the fan vote, and it's definitely a good throwback. So I can't take anything away from it there. Yeah, that Richmond Pocono in '85. I have it on tape. I taped all the races for over 30 years on VHS tapes, says Stephen Emilio Jr. So that's pretty awesome, man. We used to tape them, too, when they were on. My uncle would tape them because he had cable, and we would watch them later. Glenn Park said, yes, they did. That whole team, plus Baby Ty, are down, says Jeff Henson. Talking about, I guess, Gibbs, maybe. It was when Cole won the 500. Talking about Cole Trickle winning the Daytona 500 there. Glenn Park there. I like it. I like your style. Blue Roofer saying no for the poll, I guess. Echo Blue, Mustang, and more. I see NASCAR going hybrid like F1. 76% on the poll. So 1/4 think it was a cheap shot. 3/4 think it was more than reasonable because Noah wouldn't let go. I see, and I'm going to go ahead and jumped up to 77% as I said something there. So I'm going to let it go. I'm going to end it now. And I'll try to think of another poll here coming up. I see NASCAR going hybrid like F1, says Echo Blue Mustang. I think that's probably where NASCAR ends up staying. I don't think they'll ever go fully electric, except there will be like a whole separate series. Like you've got Formula Electric, like there will be an electric NASCAR series, but it won't be the Cup series. Sucker Punch is how he acted after holding his hands up, says Duke Chronic. I mean, that's a fair point too. But like I said, it really reminded me of like Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. I mean, it was just so comical. It was the whole thing was comical. Keith Aldridge, negative with Newman and Ross on the track this week. It should be interesting. Yeah, I think so too. You're going to get the unstoppable object meets the immovable force. Newman and Chastain there. Punch or be punched in a fight. Hands on somebody and in your face escalates to a fight, guys, says Ian Fisher. I agree. Once he got touched, I was like, as soon as he actually got grabbed, I was like, here we go. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know he was actually going to throw one down the pipe, but I was like, something's about to happen. I thought they were just going to wrestle each other, but Ross had other thoughts on that matter. Stephen Emilio Jr. says Bill was driving by a Hardee's and saw Cale Yarborough's Thunderbird. Thunderbird's outside, turned around, examined the car, realized it was way narrower than their cars, went home and reskinned the car. So there you go. That's the story behind why the car got super narrow. That's pretty cool. They've got that car somewhere. I think it's at the Talladega Hall of Fame, the $1 Million Bill car. It was at Ford. Like it's owned by Ford. Ford Motor Company owns the car. They bought it in I somehow got a hold of it, I guess. They own it. But I think they've got it lent out right now to the Talladega Super Speedway Hall of Fame. Matt Hunter, Earnhardt Sr.'s only equal on the track was Tim Richmond. Kyle Petty was his only other advocate at the time. He would be getting better support now for his addiction problems, says Matt Hunter. Yep, that's probably 100% accurate. What's with Noah and the Three Stooges hairdo, says William Tyre. Noah took a bet for $100, I think, with a crew member. Austin Dillon's actually the one who paid the $100, saying he wouldn't do it. But I can't remember the crew member that actually brought it up. But for $100, Noah Gregson will cut his hair apparently like a Three Stooge. I just thought Harvick, LOL, says stupid roofer. I like how the one stepped into this and set this kid down, says Jeff Henson. So I don't think even Noah was expecting that at all myself. Also, the RWR stands for Ryan's Wide Rear in Rick W. in Rick W. Racing. Rick Ware Racing. Ryan's Wide Rear. So that's definitely going to be a true story there. Ryan Newman's throwback's actually pretty cool. He's throwing back to the old mobile all-tail car that he used to drive. Good old wrestling days. Four Horsemen, says T-Van. Yep, they were the bomb back in the day. What would you do if somebody grabs your collar, says Keith Aldridge? It depends on it depends on who it is. I've had people grab my collar and want to kiss me. I've had people grab my collar and want to fight me. So it just depends on it's a situational decision in that particular respect. Jeff Henson, racing fan, not too much on a WWE. But I think most people know who Ric Flair is. I do try to keep it racing though. I try not to go all the way down the rabbit holes on those. I must be a cheap shot artist. I played hockey, got in tons of fights. You put your hands on me, you got a fist to the face. I mean, that's if you feel like you're in danger, if somebody grabs you and you feel like you're in danger, you got to throw one down the pipe there. Chastain is the new Harvick. Harvick was up there too. He tangled with Biffle and Rudd and everybody when he was early on as well. And I think he does remind me of Ross Chastain quite a bit as well. Peace, love, Dove, and go 8, says Jenna Allison. Jeff Henson going no. Kyle's reaction to that was perfect. It wasn't a sucker punch, but I wish he could have got his in. Says Stephen. Yeah, they definitely should have let it go just a little bit. If you're going to let one guy throw one, just let it go for a little bit. Noah was robbed of his sweet revenge, that 2-day haymaker he was trying to wind up and uncork. No doubt about it. If you grab someone, it's a threat, says Jeff Henson. I agree with that 100%. That's how it's written down here in the law books where we're at. Any unwanted physical contact. So I tell you this, Ross is lucky that guy was because Noah was about to beat the brakes off of him, says Aaron Flynn. I mean, it depends because Ross had already ducked because that other punch coming was pretty slow. So let's see. He put his hat on real quick. LOL, says Roofer. The only thing that would have made things worse for Noah would be if he had a monkey tail beard or to go along with the goofy cut. Yeah, go full 60s on it with that one. Glen Park, Noah Gregson looks like one of the Three Stooges for sure. A lot of people said it looked like two. It looked like two Stooges, two of the Three Stooges out there fighting. One more for the Three Stooges. LOL, says Keith Aldridge. Rossi drove a cleaner race than normal, says Finn Larson. So there you go. Yeah, I think there wasn't actually that much contact from Ross that I saw, at least on the TV in this one, other than that particular incident. I know I missed the last Wall Ride 4, says Jeff Henson. I know I missed the last 2 to 3 live streams, but here, rest in peace, Gordon Lightfoot. Yeah, for sure. Definitely Gordon Lightfoot. I actually forgot that he left us, but definitely a musical icon. So he will be missed. Appreciate it, Napa Racing fan. Noah would not have got a punch in because Ross already had his hand in the place to catch his counter. I mean, I'm not going to break it down that far. I'm just going to say the dude jumped in and probably should have let it go for a little bit. If they're really still that mad, we might see round 2 later on this year at some point. Robin Mark says hit him in the nose. It blinds him. That's a fact. It makes you tear up, and it's hard to see. Matt Hunter, it was easily the best Kansas race ever. I agree with that, Matt Hunter. They raised the bar for Darlington, which I think it can meet. It is my favorite overall track. I love Darlington too. I think everybody's pretty hyped up about Darlington for several reasons. One of which, of course, being the podcast tour bus that the other YouTubers are going down there and doing. So if you're going to Darlington, make sure you check those guys out. It's going to be a good time for them down there. It's okay. The one has this, says Jeff Henson. I'll put half the field up against Jeffrey Earnhardt in a fight. I'm betting on Jeffrey. The Xfinity Series, Austin Hill might give him some problems. Yeah, and if it's a road course, they say Andy Lally is one you don't want to tangle with either. T-Van. Aiden Ross says, not a sucker punch, but I'm sick of officials breaking up fights after one punch. Either let them or don't. Yeah, I'm with you too. Either break it up before it happens or let them go for a minute or two. Way different era, says Roofer. Race Grub says Chastain is in better shape than Noah. Grew up farming. I don't care if Noah outweighs him. I think Chastain would have taken him. Noah throws up after every race. LOL. Says Race Grub. So yeah, I mean, if you put me in a corner, and you know what, that's the poll question. That's the other poll question. Who would have won the fight if it went on? Just be done with it. That way I don't have to keep answering it. There we go. You can have your say about it. And whenever it does that, it has taken me all the way down to the bottom. So I'm just going to roll up here and start here. Oh, well, they actually caught up. So the Kansas race was the best Cup race all year. The ending took a lot of excitement and anticipation. From the ending, I hope Hamlin and Larson go side by side to the finish. Yeah, it would have been nice to see them go side by side, and we'll have to see how that plays out. I don't think Kyle Larson will retaliate because they're friends, but we'll have to see. Fox Crew on standby, says Jeff Henson. If Richard Petty started his career this year, how many championship races do you think he would win when he retired? That's a good question. He would. You have to factor in that Petty Enterprises was the best thing going back then too. So you would have to say that he would be joining the best thing going. I would put him right where Jeff Gordon's at with about 100 and some wins, because I think he's that talented. I don't think his career would be that much different. Some Ting Wong says Jeff Henson. William Tyre, that may have been when Bill set the all-time speed record for Talladega. Could be. Mark Barnum says, oops, T-Van, I would put Harvick up against the entire field. Yeah, Harvick's got a wrestling background, so it doesn't matter how good you can throw him if he can get you on the ground. Ross is on par with Jimmy Spencer. Don't sully the Intimidator. I'm not sullying anybody. I'm just saying they have a similar driving style. I didn't say he was as good as them. Have you watched the Betterhausen doc on Flow? I haven't seen that yet. I don't have Flow TV. Aiden lost the feed. Ross is Mr. Excitement. Jeff Henson, better. Bill did it in 85, same year. He won the Winston Million, hence Austin Bill from Dawsonville and $1 Million Bill. Dale Jr. was very animated and excited about Ross. Says it all about marketing. He was talking with his hands and had lots of notes. He was real serious. Says the door is open. So there you go. Mark Barnum says, back now all. How many throwback races are we having this year? Just 2 so far. Appalachia Dogs, just Wilkesboro and Darlington so far is what it looks like. Elliott, the $1 million car. Is the Elliott car the $1 million car? Oh, this one back there in the background. Yeah, well, you can't see it now. I do have the $1 million Bill Elliott car back there. That's the 1988 one. Awesome, Bill. Words are hard. My mother-in-law says Bear Fest for the first meal of I got you day, and we all die laughing. Let's see here. Average speed 212 miles per hour. So there you go. He definitely set it on fire there. Are you going to the Bristol night race, BB? Says Appalachia. I'm going to try to. I can't promise anything because I don't know what my schedule is going to look like for the late model side of things. But I am going to try to make at least one of the Bristol races this year. And if you like real fights, Edmonton Oilers, Las Vegas Knights is very rough. Lots of fights in the last one, says Robin Marks. So there you go. Check out the Oilers and the Knights. They like to get it on while they're playing hockey there. Ford has only one win through 1/3 of the season in Cup. Yeah, so we actually asked that. I don't know if you came in late, but one of the polls earlier was, do you think Ford needs help? Because they've taken cars to the research center, and we're thinking Ford is going to get a little help from the aerodynamic side of things. That was actually the first poll earlier today. So NASCAR is looking at it, and NASCAR is working on it. Tim Richmond was super great on road courses, says Robin Marks. Yeah, he pretty much owned Riverside pretty much when I think he got 2 or 3 wins over there, if I'm not mistaken. NASCAR Electric, shocking, says William Wagaman. 9 winners in 12 races. Will we have more than 16 winners? I hope so. I really hope that trend continues to go on, because it makes it where you can't just kamikaze and win a race and not worry about your points. Because I do get sort of irritated with that. I may be wrong, but I see Noah as kind of a punk. He needed to be punched more, said David Griffith. That's what I'm saying about Noah and Ross Chastain. They're so polarizing, but people like to talk about them. They like to think about them. So I think 100% that they're both good for the sport, because they have that all-important thing that is personality that a lot of other drivers probably have, but they're just scared to show for sponsor reasons, obviously. My cousin would get so mad when I ask him if he was watching Dancing with the Stars, referring to wrestling, LOL, says say Kyle, not Cal. One wise guy, DVC, echoed your comments about a scuffle with Trackhouse and Legacy at the airport. Hey, so there you go. They finally admitted that it basically happened. So, yeah, there you go. In the airport parking lot, Legacy Motor Club and Ross Chastain got into it. So that actually happened the week before this. So with that in mind, like I told y'all last week, is it all that surprising that Noah Gragson and Ross Chastain fought on pit road? Like I said, it wasn't over that particular move. It went back 2 weeks. So there you go. I appreciate it. Good looking out, one wise guy. I'm glad you saw that for me, or heard that for me. Kevin for the win. Gamer versus Farmer. Farmer wins every time. Not a fan of either driver. But what did he expect? Hey, so there you go. What's up, BB? You have a nickname for Chastain? Boss Man, Ross Man. Ross, the watermelon boss, is another one I've heard. I appreciate it, Ryan Fussner. Mr. Burger, I like watching it in slow-mo and frame at a time. It brings out Noah's haircut. You can also see his ears twitch too, which is a sign that you got hit pretty hard. Let's see here. Ross rang his bell. We all heard it, says one wise guy. Jeff Henson says, LOL. The way I was raised, don't put your hands on nobody, and you don't let anyone out there put their hands on you. Same for me, Aaron. No way, Mark Barnum. Kyle Busch is going to win 8 more. Ross can fight. Noah looks a little slow. Says William Tyre. Yeah, Noah winds up way too much. Like you can almost tackle him by the time he's going to throw his. Roofer, the way KFB is going, he is going to hit the wall 8 more times. Yeah, so Kyle Busch is either going to finish top 5 or wreck. That's been his season so far this year. Jeff Henson saying maybe the one has some Zen powers. I don't know about that. Kevin for the win says wouldn't want to fight Priest either. Yeah, Ryan Priest is a pretty good sized guy. No contest, says Robin Marks. 76% saying Ross Chastain would have won. Ross Pins wants. Ryan Gallagher says want. Actions Denny Tremental says Matt Hunter. Cassandra Keller saying hi to Jenna. Wasn't Noah taking martial arts? LOL. Apparently for like 1 week. I think he did that for the laughs, and I don't think he ever went back because I don't think he likes working out. I know for a fact he doesn't like working out. He used to post that on Instagram all the time. He hated working out. Then he was looking for a punch to the face, says Jeff Henson. I've had lots of drivers say they wouldn't fight Harvick, says Kevin for the win. Yeah, Kevin Harvick's a pretty good wrestler. He would be a hard out, as they say in the business. Noah is a young kid. I think he is too cocky for his own good, like most of them. Ross has had to fight like hell to get where he is at. I think that's a fair comparison, T-Man. I think you're on the money with that one. And nothing against Noah in his situation, but Ross, he's had to sacrifice a lot more to get to where he's at. They're both very talented, so I'm not taking that away from either one of them. Just different ways of getting about where you're going. No, but I've seen a Kung Fu movie, says William Tyre. I'd say Noah would have won because when Ross would have got the throw up all over him, he would have quit fighting. Says Mr. Monk. So there you go. He's got like a defense mechanism, like one of those frogs that releases a nasty odor if you pick them up. So maybe that's Noah's defense mechanism, superpower or whatever you want to call it. Old Home Guy says Ryan will get SHR help because he will help. He helped start up SHR. Says Old Home Guy. Actually, they're aligned with RFK, so I'm thinking if the help comes, it's going to come from RFK. I didn't think about that last live stream, so it's actually probably going to be RFK help, and Ryan has also helped with RFK, so I think either way he's good. I wish there would be just 1 week without Ross Chastain incident. The racing is getting overlooked by these Chastain incidents. It's entertaining, but it is getting redundant, says Napa Racing Fan. I think there will be a point where it gets to oversaturation. I think you're right. But I think this particular time, it's fine. But going forward, I don't want to hear about every single bumper that Ross Chastain touches because, honestly, you could do that for a lot of drivers out there. Should have let Denny stop the fight, says Jeff Henson. Denny's reaction when he saw the fight was kind of priceless, too. He kind of realized, like, oh, I got off easy. I might not have should have talked so much junk and got in his face so many times. Stevie Roofer, Jeffrey Earnhardt fought MMA and won. Yeah, Jeffrey Earnhardt is a former MMA fighter. Definitely not one you would want to tangle with. Then he said he already talked to Kyle on his podcast. Says Stephen D'Amelio Jr. Didn't Gordon get to 214 at Indy in 2012? I don't know, but I think they have to go off average speed or something weird like that. The way they do it is weird, so I don't think it's the fastest a car has ever gone. And I know Rusty Wallace untimed. He took the restrictor plate off his car, but it was just for a practice to see how fast it would go at Talladega. So they've gone faster. Just it has to be like officially recorded or something like that. 11 will fix this feud. LOL, says Jeff Henson. What's up, guys? What's up, Mr. Pearson? Noise T-Van says Stupid Roofer. Toyota wasn't the best at Kansas. Chevy was. Hamlin may have had the best car, but I believe Larson should have won that race. Yeah, it just depends. Like one had a short run car and one had a long run car. So it just depends on how the race played out. Denny will cry everyone to sleep, says William Tyre. And Stupid Roofer saying, what's up to Mr. Pearson? And Jeff Henson saying, cry, cry, cry. Noah seemed to forget Florida man operates off stand your ground. No duty to retreat. Leave anything south of Jacksonville alone. Says say Kyle, not Cal. That is probably the ultimate Florida man comment. I appreciate it, dude. Let's see. Napa Racing Fan, Kyle Larson could easily have 6 to 8 wins already this year. Daytona, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Bristol Dirt, Talladega, Dover, and now Kansas, as well as Richmond plus Martinsville. Yeah, I agree with you. And you know who another one up there is? Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch could have probably way more, at least had some race winning speed in some of those cars, but speeding on pit road gets him put back in the middle of the pack and gets him wrecked out in a lot of those races where he had some speed as well. Jeff Henson said red-faced Noah. Dale Jr. on his podcast had an interesting take on Ross needing to lean into this. I think he's spot on. What are your thoughts? Says Ryan Fuss. I just want Ross Chastain to be himself. I don't want him to lean into some stupid character. I don't want him to act like this way or that way, because there's one thing to act one way for a sponsor. It's another thing to act one way just to be the bad guy and sort of play it up. I just want to see Ross Chastain be himself because that's all I want to see. I don't need any of these like fake personas like Conor McGregor and the guys doing the UFC. I just want the dude to be himself. He's a farmer from Florida. He's already got a good backstory. Just be Ross Chastain. He just needs to be himself. Ryan Newman is a badass, says William Tyre. I agree with that. And if him and Ross tangle, it's going to be interesting. Chase asking someone else to take a shot on Ross, chump move or post surgery load management. Says say Kyle, not Kyle. I'll tell you what, that's a good poll question though. In poll. Here we go. Let's start a real poll. Was Chase right in telling Noah to go fight? There we go. Ask your community. Now it's going to get interesting. Because there are a lot of Chase Elliott fans who, no matter what Chase Elliott does, they're going to be like, Chase Elliott was right. So this is gonna be the good one. Here we go, 50-50 already. I love it. Dale Jr. on his podcast, I just read that one. Let's see. Toyota needs to go ahead and put Noah in their training program with Ty Gibbs. Hey, there you go. They can take boxing classes together. That would be good. Harrison Burton seems to be in over his head in the 21 car, says David Nyhoff. I agree with you. He might need to go down and get a little more seasoning in Xfinity. E. Damon, odd how NASCAR highlights the Ross nonsense, yet all season has been going after Denny et al. We have no ratings and viewership is plummeting week to week. Yep, 100%. But that's Denny's job is to say controversial things for that podcast. So that's what I said. Take what he says with a grain of salt. One wise guy predictions for Sunday. I'm thinking Blaney gets his win. Well, here's a quick preview. Denny Hamlin, best average finish at Darlington with 6.9. Joey Logano, 7.6. Tied with Kevin Harvick, also at 7.6. Tyler Reddick going to be your sleeper there at 11.1. Austin Dillon, another sleeper at 12.2. Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, who will be in the race, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, and Eric Almirola and Ty Gibbs are your 12 with the best average finish there. So take your pick. I'm kind of liking Harvick here, but it's hard to bet against Eric Jones and some other guys. I'll have to look into it deeper, but off the top of my head, I'm liking Harvick because it's his last season. Ask yourself this: would you want to fight a Florida man? Says Robin Marks. That's a fair question too. I'm pretty sure it was his average lap. Says Stupid Roofer. I think so too. I think that's how they measure it. Ryan and Riley would be a good team. Says Old Home Guy. 24-5 battle for a championship this year. Ross is leading, but never in it for P1. Going to need to win in Phoenix to win it all. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's going to come down to of the four, who just hits the best Phoenix setup for the championship. That's why it's so hard to predict. But as far as picking regular season championship, I think Ross Chastain has to be in the mix for that, which is the only thing I can really reasonably predict. Can you imagine if Ross did what Denny did on the last lap, says Jay Campbell? Oh, yeah, it would definitely get the crowd moving. Imagine instead if it was like Kyle Larson, imagine if it was Chase Elliott. Then you would have something that would break the internet as far as who liked who and who hated who. Did you like Noah Gregson's coconut haircut, says OJ and Toothpaste? I didn't have a problem with it, but with him being his age, like obviously I wouldn't do that haircut. I've had that haircut before. It was called the Christian Laettner bowl cut in 1992. It wasn't quite that egregious, but I don't have a problem with it. But the bad thing for him is it's going to be forever immortalized because that punch is going to be shown in just about every highlight reel going out. I'll have to do some research, says Roofer. Bust some melons, says Jeff Henson. Anyone watched Deegan's Kansas video? Found it funny. Hocevar apologized in the comments for getting into the back after she passed him. Yeah, that was I saw the highlights of that. I didn't get to see that race because I was at the racetrack myself, but that was him doing his thing. That's what he's known for. So I'm not going to hate on it, but at least he did apologize. So that's all you can do. Once again, Haley's having a good run, and somebody gets into the back of her. She still finished 12th though, so she got it figured out. Just go fix it. No, says Jeff Henson. Say Kyle, not Kyle. Oh my God, Harrison is so bad in Cup. I find myself audibly laughing when he shows up for his weekly scheduled spin. Curious to see what Jeff has to say when NBC takes over. Yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure. Aaron Flynn saying, yep, at Mr. Jeff Henson there. Stupid Roofer saying Newman. The Wood brothers deserve better. They are legends. I mean, they got to find somebody with a sponsor. He had the sponsor. They took a risk on him. It didn't work out. I don't mind the play, but it hasn't worked out. So time to possibly bring somebody else in there. I still believe in Harrison Burton. He just needs to go down and refine his skills just a little bit. NASCAR Fantasy Tips says to avoid Blaney like the plague this week. Says, say Kyle, not Cal. I'm taking Bell, says Roofer. Hey, y'all playing Heat 5 tonight, says Bumblebee. So if you want to check out Heat 5, go over there and check out Bumblebee with who you playing Heat 5 with, Bumblebee. Let them know. I'm pretty sure she's playing with Michael, but I don't want to guess wrong there. She might be playing with somebody else. Am I behind because I already answered that? And now putting a poll up, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr. Ford needs help, says William Thomas. Hey, EB48, Haya, Penske, back to Dodge. Or Penske goes back to Dodge, says William Thomas. I've missed something here. Ford needs help, says William Thomas. Or Penske needs to go back to Dodge. I got you. Ford needs help, or Penske needs to go back to Dodge, says William Thomas. Now I got you. Let's see. Napa Racing fan Noah Gregson with the new haircut looks almost like the fifth Beatle. Not quite though. Says Napa Racing fan. He's the sixth member of Fallout Boy. That's what he is. Look up Doofus Rick and Morty, and that equals Noah's haircut, says Ryan Fussner. Jeff Henson says the hair went flying. EB48, how's your leg recouping? Elite Precision, what's up, BB? Going to be in the 90s at Darlington this weekend. Hot and slick racetrack. Going to make this another great race. I agree with you 100%. And if you haven't checked out Elite Precision's page, check his page out. He puts out great NASCAR content, and he definitely needs more subscribers. So if you check him out and you like what he's got going on, definitely hit that subscribe button because he does a great job at what he is doing. One Wise Guy, thoughts on Toyota upcoming 2024 season with Legacy. Joining the group, says One Wise Guy. I think they're going to be vastly improved. I think that's something that Toyota's been trying to get going on for a long time. So I think they're going to check off all the boxes. And I think this year is basically going to be a throwaway year. But I think next year you're going to see a massive resurgence over there at Legacy MC. 21 could get better with a driver with more Cup experience. I agree with you 100%. Elite, your last video was great, says Mark Barnum. Bumblebee, Heat 5 on Xbox or PS. Elite says, thanks, Mark. John Lewis, someone needs to let Noah know that Chase isn't his friend. LOL. Yeah, Noah, go poke the lion. It's okay. So that's it definitely, his adrenaline was going and he let that slip, but it definitely is something he definitely let slip. Like, I don't think Chase Elliott was super happy when he said that. I think Barry's going to win Darlington. Says inspire in so many ways. I mean, that would be a pretty good bet. Like, let's see what Bowman's numbers are there. We know Hendrick's good there, but let's look in particular at what the 48 car does there. Yeah, so Alex Bowman with an average finish of 15.4. He's had a best finish of second. So Josh Berry, that could be one he gets it done. The 9-car prank Noah, says Jeff Henson. So that's definitely one way of looking at it. Say Kyle, not Kyle, these videos are great. Do yourself a favor if you've never seen his stuff. Yeah, I agree. And Roofer saying, what's up to Elite? How's the fix it again, Tony car coming? Says Old Home Guy. We are under 500 subscribers away from getting the Fiat and starting the Fiat project. That started off as the Yugo project for those that have been watching for a while. So, yeah, if we hit 500 subscribers, we're going to do the Fiat project car. We're going to turn it into a race car that you can drive on the road. Well, you know what? When we get to it, I'll explain it then. But I'm not going to roll it out until we get to it. Chevy is making the rear end out of Noah on the way out. Says Aaron Flynn. Yeah, so allegedly a lot of people think this started over Chevrolet shuffling him out. But actually, I think that was post what happened there. I think Chevrolet knew that Legacy was going to Toyota, so that's why they shuffled Noah out. Like, that deal got done. I think that deal got done before Jimmy Johnson signed on, to be totally honest with you. 15.4 sounds like Bowman, says say Kyle, not Cal. Working on any more short documentaries. I enjoyed the last one, says One Wise Guy. I'm actually working on one for Martinsville, and I'm working on that one from when I went to Wilkesboro, and I'm also working on the one from when I went to Phoenix. So I do got 3 more on the way, and I've got some ideas for some other ones, but I want to get those 3 finished before I even mention any of the other ones. So yeah, there are 3 coming, and hopefully they don't suck. So that's always the hope. $5 for not going with the Yugo. I appreciate it, Ryan Fussner. It was just going to be too expensive to upkeep a Yugo. So 24 was really good at Darlington last year, says Duke Chronic. So yeah, I mean that's definitely a 24 track too. It's definitely a Hendrick track, but yeah, you can't count him out either. Bowman gets a win and makes the playoffs, says Jay Campbell. If he can make it back, maybe, but I don't think he'll be back for Darlington. I think it'll be after that. But I think when he does get back, I think you're right. I think he does get a win. He might even still be able to point his way in. Elite Precision saying, "What's up, Roofer?" BB, what's your daily? Says Escobar. I've got a Chevy Silverado, and I had a Chevrolet Cobalt, but I ran into a deer and hit it. So right now, I am borrowing a car, but when I get the Fiat is going to be the daily. I thought we would get here to it faster, but the Fiat is going to be the daily. But right now, I'm borrowing a Honda Civic from a family member. So if the Corvette, that family member being my mom, she's being really cool and let me borrow a Honda Civic that she doesn't use anymore. So if the Corvette or Cadillac comes in, they dump the Camry because of gas prices. I would be just driving my truck otherwise. The Super Cup will look like IMSA more and more, says John Lewis. I mean, that could be a situation that arises. We'll just have to see how it goes coming forward. Ryan Fussner with the laughing emojis. Jeff Henson, take it east, BB. Stephen Emilio, the 21 car is backed by Ford for 100 years. Yes, it comes from Penske. Yeah. They're a Penske car for sure. As long as the 22 stays running 30th, the 21 doesn't find a way to wreck him. The 24 is taking that W in that beautiful car this weekend. Says Say Kyle, not Cal. So there you go. We got one pick for Fast Willie B. In this one coming up. One wise guy says just slap some Yugo badges on it and call it a day. Yeah, so fun fact, the reason we went with Fiat instead of Yugo is that the Yugo is basically based on a Fiat. And Fiat, when they bought out the Yugo plant, they still produce Fiats from that Yugo plant. Unfortunately, the only Fiats they produce from there now are electric. But they did do the 500L or something. But I'm just going to go with a regular Fiat 500 because it more resembles the Yugo, and it's just more sporty, and they're way cheaper. Way cheaper being the bigger selling point on that one. 43 with the Toyota hurts the history of that number. I see Jones leaving because of the tie to JGR. I don't know. I think he stays, but we'll see. And Richard Petty's worked with every manufacturer. So, yeah, I guess it not being technically based in America, although they give Americans jobs. I guess I can see where you're coming from there, but he has worked with every manufacturer, so I don't know. It'd be interesting to see Richard Petty actually come out and have something to say about it. I don't want to speak for him there. Jeff Henson says truck hunting. Ray Scrub says defensive mechanism. He might have one with that. That was a good one. Talking about Noah's superpower there. I feel like the borrowing thing, I'm driving my mom's Ford Flex. I call it Big Ugly while my Vet's transmission is being rebuilt. So I want my car back, says I say Kyle, not Cal. Yeah, I understand, man. Cars Tour should go back to calling their cars the Pro Cup Series. The Cars Tour, man, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get in trouble with them again. Nope, I'm going to say it. They should call it the Dale Jr. Motorsports Invitational because nobody is beating that 8 car right now, and Dale Jr. owning the series is such a bad look for that. But that being said, I don't think they're cheating or doing anything. I just think their equipment is just so much better than everybody's that they should call it the Junior Motorsports Invitational instead of the Cars Tour. There you go. I said it. Controversy. It sells. Yay. Anyways, 22 goes for stage wins and sets up for Phoenix. Same as last year, says Jay Campbell. Napa racing fan. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that's basically what he did last year. He just sort of R&D'd all year and then sort of turned it on at the end. So that's kind of been their MO. Since I missed the last few streams, what are your thoughts on Legacy MC Toyota news? Says Napa racing fan. I think Legacy going to Toyota gives them the best chance at good equipment. That being said, is it significantly better? I think it is. To me personally, I think it is significantly better. So from an organizational standpoint, if you take the Richard Petty and the 43 feelings that a lot of people have about it out of the equation, it is a good move for them. But when you put the 43 and how people feel about it, there's a lot of people that are going to be turned off by it because they don't want to see the 43 on a Toyota. So from that perspective, I don't know how you call it, but I think from an organizational perspective that they are going to be getting better equipment because they're not going to be like the 8th person in line at best in getting Chevrolet parts. They'll be the 5th or 6th person getting Toyota parts. Kia Forte is my gas-saving car. S10 4x4 is my fishing wagon, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. That's the thing. If you own a truck, you almost have to own another car that's good on gas right now. Unfortunately, the way things are. Say Kyle, not Cal, I wouldn't go to JGR willingly if I were Jones. They've already did you dirty once. I'd be calling SHR, but he's not going to JGR. He's going with Toyota. And I will say this, from Toyota's perspective, they are taking some power away from Joe Gibbs Racing, right? So now you have 2311, and now you have Legacy MC. So now you have 4 cars over here. They got 4 cars over there. Joe Gibbs Racing no longer calls the show for Toyota. Toyota now has some say. So in a situation where Kyle Busch, his contract is up and JGR can't find a sponsor, now you have other cars that you could put Kyle Busch in. So if this situation happens last year, you've got Eric Jones and Kyle Busch at Legacy Motorsport, at Legacy Motor Club, instead of him going to RCR. So I think that is why Toyota did it. So from Toyota's perspective, it's a move for them to take control away from Joe Gibbs, because I'm just going to be honest, I think they're pissed off at what happened with Joe Gibbs last year, and they didn't want to. I don't think Toyota in any way, shape, form, or capacity wanted to lose Kyle Busch. So there's my hot take on that. A special edition Petty Blue Toyota Camry TRD. That is all, says TJ Moorshed. I'm pretty sure one will come. He's done a special edition in every car he's ever been affiliated with. And he's got Petty's garage too, so you could take it there and get it handled and sorted out over there. Say Kyle, not Kyle, what generation Corvette you got? Ryan Fussner is asking. Jeff Henson, never give in. Is it me or JRM drivers and former drivers can't fight? Well, they're usually so fast they don't have to in the Xfinity series, so you never know until they move up. Except for with the exception of Noah Gregson. Say Kyle, not Kyle says C6 Z51 LS2. Nice package there, dude. I like. Go ahead and use that audio if you want to. Yeah, that's a pretty good car you got there, dude. E. Damon Racing. I don't like trucks, but guys, Stadium Super Trucks is sick racing. Typically, Robert Gordon, 20 minutes, all rubbing racing. NASCAR Truck Series, embarrassing, just driving. Let's see here. Jeff Henson says, don't let anybody grab you. Could it be that the Vopel kid is just a good driver? Oh, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're doing anything illegal. I'm just saying he's won 3 in a row. You might as well just start calling it the Junior Motorsports Invitational. I'm not taking a stab at anybody. I'm just saying it is what it is. It is a bad look at the end of the day. Do you think the Air Force will stay at LMC to sponsor? And nobody's going to say that because it's Dale Jr. and nobody wants to get on the bad side of Dale Jr. But it is what it is. Do you think the Air Force will stay at LMC and to sponsor Toyota? That's a good question. I don't know. I have no clue. What they're going to do there. Nice. I had a C5 for a cup of coffee before I had kids and needed the rear seat. I missed that car. Oh man, I feel you. It's understandable. I don't have kids, but I understand giving up the car because of other reasons. So I understand that camp. I had to give up a Camaro because of gas a long time ago. The 43 has been a Plymouth, Buick, Pontiac, Dodge, Ford, Chevy, and now a Toyota. Is there one I missed? Buick. They did Buick for a while. You got Buick in there. He did Oldsmobile. He was in the Olds for a while too. Yeah, I think you got everything. Is there a Ford in there? Yep, you got them all. I think you got them all, Napa fan. Hit the like button for the best racing chat going, says Jay Campbell. Yeah, if you want to hit the like button, it would be much appreciated, but don't feel pressured. Don't give my wife any ideas. I bought it when she was 2 months pregnant a few years ago, says Say Kyle, not Cal. How do you think the crossover cup drivers will do in the Cars Tour race at North Wilkesboro? Who's your pick for the top finishing cup drivers, says Timber Race? I think they'll do fine. The top finishing cup driver is probably going to be. That's a good question. Let me ponder that for a minute. I'm going to go with either Ross Chastain or Kevin Harvick. I'll just put that one out there. Probably Ross Chastain drove supers, so I don't know if he's had a lot of experience with a late model, but I'm still going to go with Ross Chastain or Kevin Harvick there. You and I disagree on this one. Respectfully, Legacy just gave up. They didn't give Chevy a shot, says Roofer. I mean, I think Toyota sweetened the pot with some money too. I think there was some financial stuff too, Roofer. But I understand, like, if you're mad they switched from Chevy to Toyota, I get it. They're diehard Chevrolet guys. There's diehard Ford guys, diehard Toyota guys. I get it. John Lewis, Toyota could still be unhappy with the Bush move, just doubling down on what you said. Plus Joe is 80 plus. Yeah, so I think that's 100% why Toyota made the move they made. Even though Jimmy Johnson may not race next year, it's still strange that he'll be associated with Toyota. Yeah, I mean, but he was racing Hondas last year in IndyCar, so I mean that to me, it's not that big of a deal. But I don't know. But yeah, he raced Chevys for his whole career until he raced Hondas last year. Let's see. Isn't Hamlin and Truex's contracts almost up? I think Truex only has a 1-year contract, and Hamlin's contract is definitely up at the end of this year. They've been working on it. I've established Earth 2 is shaped as a toaster in the shape a number 3 toaster, by the way. And I have a nice package, and I can die a happy man. Say Kyle, not Cal. Yeah, there you go. Use that audio to your advantage. Elite Precision. I just hope Toyota doesn't give GMS the furniture road treatment. Yeah, I'm with you on that. There's not a great track history with that. But that being said, I think they're actually going to help out Legacy Motor Club more than hurt them. Toyota itself is. So that's the way I see it going. Napa Racing Fan, he also drove an Oldsmobile. I said Stephen D'Amelio Jr. I think I threw Oldsmobile in there, but I think that's the only one that was missed. Aaron Flint, because back in the day, you would drive like 3 or 4 makes in a season. You just drove one make the most. Mother's Day weekend at Darlington, if you were a General Motors person. Like if a Buick had an advantage here, you drove the Buick, yada, yada. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Yeah, for sure. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Elite Precision saying Legacy. I meant. I just hope Toyota. Oh yeah. I hope they don't. I hope they don't basically off them like they did Levine Family Racing too. But I think because they want to make this work, like I said, they're trying to take power away from Joe Gibbs Racing because of what happened last year. I think that they're going to pump money in to help them out. Jimmy is a great Cup driver at 1. Jeff Henson when says, when are you scared to leave the planet? You can be scared or not scared about leaving the planet. It's going to happen. So it's just something you got to deal with. You can be scared about it or not. John Lewis, Jimmy is a great Cup driver at one time, but everything he has touched since then has had a short shelf life, says John Lewis. So there you go. There is that aspect to it as well. Does Harvick get one last win, says one wise guy? I think he gets one last win for sure. We have built quite the community here. Thank you, BB, and Elite Precision 29 for being in the chat, says Reefer. Yeah, for sure. It is a great community, and definitely I appreciate Elite being in the chat as always. All-Star, strict only winners from Cup, Xfinity, Trucks on the same racing in the same time in different classes, awesome entertainment or stupid gimmick. They would all have to be in the same car. I don't want to see Trucks out there being 3 seconds a lap slower on a circle track. Maybe it works on a road course, but on a circle track, the trucks are just going to be so much slower. Also, optically, if it's one of those tracks where the Xfinity cars have the advantage, seeing the Xfinity cars pass the Cup cars, that's going to make some people pretty angry. Those people being NASCAR. Great idea for the Clash on a Daytona road course. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Earth 2 Pool takes Noah's place and wins. LOL, says John Lewis. That would definitely be something. Jeff Henson was saying LOL. Say Cal, some dude was crying to Moody about Petty going to Toyota. Moody pointed out all the OEMs, and the dude goes, well, he never drove an AMC as a rebuttal. That's about accurate. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, look, I can understand people not wanting to see the 43 on a Toyota, but at the end of the day, they had to do what they got to do. And Richard Petty doesn't even own enough ownership in that. He's just a consultant at this point. So he actually didn't even have any say. So at the end of the day, they made the move they made. But yeah, that looks like that's going to be the end of this one. So I'm going to dip out on this one. I appreciate all y'all for hanging out. It was fun, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.